So you want to take a trip to the National Archives in Washington, D.C. You've never been before and you have no idea what to expect. I sat down with Brian Reinhardt of Civil War Records and we talked about exactly what you need to know in order to make your trip successful. He goes there all the time for his clients and he is very well versed in the National Archives and how to use it for genealogical research. I'd like to thank Brian for doing this with me. I'm Aimee Cross. I'm here to help you take your genealogy to the next level. Let's get into this. What do I need to know if I'm going to go in person? What do I need to have with me? What other things do I need to be thinking about?
The key is to become prepared with the pension index card for, if you want the service records, make sure you know what regiment he was in. A couple things that throws people off sometimes is make sure you are aware of which these records are already online. Because if you go there and you are requesting a file that has already been scanned and put onto Fold 3, they're not going to give you that original. They're going to nicely point you to the computers next to the desk and say, you're welcome to access these here. But they're not going to give you the original. And so sometimes people come there and they feel bad because they've kind of wasted their time, that they really want this pension file, but they're like, it's already online. Yeah. And so they don't want people to keep handling those. They just are trying to preserve those. Make sure you're realistic about your expectations, keeping in mind that military records from World War I and more recent are not even in Washington, D.C. Those are going to be in St. Louis. They don't have very many Confederate records. So make sure you're aware of that. Confederate pensions are kept at the state archives, not the National Archives. I'm always careful to say, I don't speak on behalf of them. If you get there and they say something different, that's their call and you have to listen to them. Some strategic ways to make efficient use of your time there would be to realize that they open for business for researchers at 9 o'clock in the morning. So for a new researcher, I usually tell them, try to get here at 8:45, because that way you have to get through security, go through the metal detector, they sign you in. They won't open the main doors until 9 o'clock. You have to wait in the lobby. At 9 o'clock when they let you in, as a new researcher, you need to go and get your researcher card, which, depending on how many new researchers are there, you might be the only one, but you could be one of a dozen. And it could take you 20, 30 minutes to get through the line. They usually are quicker than that, but you just want to be prepared. The reason that's a big deal is you have to submit pull slips for all the records that you want. You can't browse the shelves. You have to submit a request. And the first time they pick up those pull slips is usually right around 9:30. And it can take like an hour for them to get to that first round. So that's when everybody's getting their request in. So if you get there at, let's say, 9:15, walk through the door, get your researcher card, and you're ready to go at 9:40, you probably missed that first round of pulls. And so you may have to wait for them to get the second round at like 10:30. And then you may have to wait till 11 or 11:15 before those even show up. So do what you can to get at least a couple of your requests in before 9:30. That way you have something to work on and you're not waiting there all day.
How many requests will they give you at one time?
You can request for the military records, like pensions or service records, you can request 24 of those a day.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's way more than I thought. Okay.
Yeah. When it comes to the land record, like the homestead land and all that, that's a different category of pulls and within reason, but there's no limit. You can't request like 100. But if you want to request 20 at a time and you finish those and you can request 20 more, they'll probably do it for you.
Cool.
Within reason, because that's a whole different category.
Yeah, I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to get that much done at one time. I need to get busy. I need to do more prep.
Well, you can request all those in one day, but can you get through them all? That's the question.
Exactly. Yeah.
They will keep records on hold for you for 5 days. So if you want to get everything in on your first day, and that way you know it's there, they'll keep it on hold for you for the next day, or even over the weekend into Monday if you need to come back.
Tell me, how do I get images? Do I have to scan them with their scanners, or can I use my phone? Tell me how to do that.
You can use your phone as long as you don't use your flash. You can take a scanner with you, as long as it's not one that doesn't, like you don't feed the document through it. Or if there's they say if it's also got a printer and a scanner both, they won't let you use it, even if there's no ink in there or anything, because they don't want any mistake of ink leaking and getting on their documents.
That makes sense.
Common sense, like if there's any way of damaging the document, they're not going to let you do it. They do have scanners that you can borrow for the day when they're really busy. Sometimes they all get checked out. Usually they're available. If you want to make photocopies, you can, but you're going to have to pay for them. But they also, when you use the copy machine in the research room, you're going to get your copies on blue paper.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
They don't give you white paper because they don't want there to be any mistake as you walk out the door as to, do you have an original or do you have a copy? So to avoid that, they load their copy machines with blue paper. So as long as you're aware of that,
Now, do you have to pay to borrow their scanner?
no, you don't.
Okay.
But you have to have a computer at least with you to hook that into. So the
Okay.
scanner hooks to a computer.
Okay.
You
What,
can do that.
and I know I saw something about you need like coins for lockers there, right?
Yeah, you're most likely going to need a locker because they're very restrictive as far as what you can take upstairs. You can't have any pens. You can't have, if you've got like a 3-ring binder, they're not going to let you bring that. They're very restrictive. So you're most likely going to have to take whatever jacket, whatever you brought, keep it in your locker. And it's a quarter, but you get the quarter back at the end of the day.
Okay. But a lot of people don't carry quarters anymore. So it's something you got to think about.
If you do use your phone, they have this really cool table that's got LED lights that shine down on it. It's got like a little bar that you can put your phone right on top of, aim your camera down, and just click, click, click all day. And it takes pretty good quality because it's all lit up. And I know iPhones have a really good camera ability. So worst case, you can do that all day. So yeah.
Awesome. Any other tidbits of things that I need to do to be ready to go? I'm so excited.
Yeah. Be aware of their operating hours. Like I said, they open at 9. They want you out the door by 5 p.m. Out the door on the street at 5 because they want to go home.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate doing this. I feel like these kinds of things are really important because I think a lot of times people get intimidated, when they haven't done something before. I know I do. So
that's part of my business model is that I'll just do it for you instead of you taking all that fear of,
yeah.
I know my first time I was ever there, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I can remember that. So I'm like, if I know what I'm doing, just pay me. I'll do it for you.
I'd like to thank Brian for helping us out with doing this video and helping you understand what you need to know in order to make the most of your trip to the National Archives. This video over here might also be of help to you, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.